Hey, what's going on, Flix Talkers? Welcome back to another movie review. This time for Joker 2, I'm going to say, because I can't pronounce it the way it's correctly put on the screen, on the poster, the way it is. But you know what? I'm going to just call it Joker 2. Like I said, this is the sequel to the 2019 Joker, which we actually just rewatched. And I recommend that you guys definitely give that one a rewatch as, man, that one, I think, after watching this a few times, the original I'm talking about, should have really swept at the Oscars. It didn't. And here we are 5 years later, guys. Todd Phillips as well behind the camera. And I'm just going to give you guys my out of theater reaction as I am recording this on October 3rd, 2024. So, first initial thoughts of the theater experience. So, we did see this in IMAX, Dolby Digital, all that good stuff, right? Walked in, about half the theater was full. Now, I don't know if this is because of all the negative reviews that did come out just throughout the week. It was really, really weird what was going on with this movie because initially, day one reviews for this movie, guys, I saw on X were really good. Really good. So I started telling, Laura and, people at work, this is getting really good reviews. The days that followed, not so much. Everyone's saying that this movie's a mess. This is terrible. What is a sequel? It doesn't work. Too much music, yada, yada. And then I start seeing, the Rotten Tomatoes score. And I already knew that if that was going to start low, it's just going to go downhill. That's how it always is, right? A snowball effect. So I think we started at something like 60%. It's now currently like at 40 as of recording this video. So I knew, seeing all of that, it was not going to sway me. I'm putting my Lady Gaga hat to the side as we are Lady Gaga fans. We've been to a few of her live concerts. We support all the albums. We really like all of her music. We think she's a fantastic, genuinely awesome, awesome performer. Very talented. She plays the piano. She sings well. And now she's getting into the acting world over the last, 5, 6, 7 years. Something like that. Star is Born, House of Gucci, American Horror Story. Great, fantastic. A lot of artists do this. I feel like she can pull it off depending on what it calls for. And I think the script really lent her to explore this Harley Quinn character. So let's just get into the cast, starting off with Harley Quinn as Lee, they call her in the movie, Harley, okay, I see what you're doing. I don't know if they do. See, I don't know anything about the comics or anything, guys. This is the Joaquin Phoenix Joker world for me. So our introduction to her is pretty cool. Without spoilers from the first movie, I didn't know if this was going to be a scenario that was all being played out in his head. We find out it's not. Once again, I don't think that's too much of a spoiler, but she is a real character in this movie. And I think she did a fantastic job. Acting, I think she did a fantastic job. Singing, she does a fantastic job in this movie as well. Before I get into Joaquin Phoenix's performance, it's very good to note that if you're going into this not knowing it's going to have some musical numbers, I'm not calling this a musical, by the way. If you're not sure that this is going to have some musical numbers and you're not really into that, you're probably going to want to skip this one or, because there is a story here. Once again, I do love the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I love the, Heath Ledger Joker. I love the Jack Nicholson Joker. I love the Joker character when it's done well. I don't love all of them, but majority I do. And I'm only going based off of the movies. I didn't dive deep into any video games or any comics or any of that stuff growing up. I was more of a Marvel kid. I'm just being honest. But when I saw Joaquin Phoenix's performance, his portrayal, his method acting, this is like super method acting for this. I mean, and how skinny he got his body in this movie. He looked skinnier in this second film than he did in Joker 2019. I didn't know he could get any thinner. It looks like he did, which adds to, if you guys saw the first movie, which I'm hoping you guys did, that it leads off with him in Arkham Asylum. He's going through a lot mentally. And I believed all of that. I believed all of that from his character. And that's why I think Joaquin Phoenix might be my favorite Joker, is because of course, Heath Ledger's life was cut short and stuff like that. But we just have more material to see from Joaquin Phoenix in this Joker role. And the method of madness is there. The constant smoking of the cigarettes, the fidgeting, the laugh. If you guys know the first movie, he has this uncontrollable laugh that's a part of his disorder. And we see that still, we still see him battling with things. In that first movie, the progression of Joker happened because he started, he was off his meds, basically. It's a huge part of the story in the first movie. In this one, he is taking meds that are given to him, and we see what happens when he gets off of them. I'll just say that. So I like that cohesiveness from the first movie to the second one. This would seem like a great double. I mean, if you had like 5 hours to kill, a great double feature to watch: Joker and then Joker Folie À Deux, or whatever I'm not going to pronounce Joker 2. All right. Because it does flow well. Now, the pin that I put at the beginning of this, there is musical acts. All right. Now, I knew this was going to happen because just like in the movie Trap with Josh Hartnett that came out earlier this year, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, which also does star his daughter, it felt a little bit shoehorned in there. Like Todd Phillips is like, hey, we got Lady Gaga. We got to put on some crazy performances with her. And that was my main drawback after like the 7th song. And yes, there's like 10 songs in this. I'm not even exaggerating, okay? Whether it's just in conversation and passing, they're singing to each other, and it might last a minute, to full on 3-4 minute numbers. It was a bit much. And we love Gaga. But this is the thing. You're trying to focus on a Joker Harley Quinn story, which is beautiful. I thought it's like crazily beautiful, insanely beautiful. But with all of this music pulling you left and right, you kind of get sucked out a bit. But then you get pulled back in because you know that it's part of his daydreaming. You know it's part of his literal dreams at some points, and then you don't know what's reality, what's not. It is kind of cool. It's almost like a masterclass Todd Phillips is kind of throwing you through in bending of reality, of questioning what is happening. Is this really happening? Is this all in Joker's head? Which parts are real, which parts are not. And I do like that. I personally like that, but I can see how audience members around me seem to maybe not like that, or someone that's not really familiar with the first movie or love the first movie is going to like this one. Because like I said, there was huge chunks of this movie that I absolutely loved because we're focusing once again more on Joker. Another huge lack of this movie was the action. Okay. There's not action until the final curtain call, so to speak, or the third act of this film, something happens. If that's a deterrent for you guys, don't watch the movie. If anything, this movie is a courtroom drama at its best. All right. A little wacky at times when it comes to the script, not the tightest script, but I got it because there is this fandom once again behind Joker. You guys see it in the trailers and stuff like that. People are at the courtroom, flipping off the cops. They got signs and all this other stuff. The mask. We get to see all of that. And I felt all of that. It's just that some of this really just either went on too long or it just became a little wacky. Once again, like, how is the judge even, allowing some of this stuff to happen? And then that goes back to what's real, what's not, what's really happening here. Either way, Joker's being put on trial for his crimes that he did in the first movie. That I like. It doesn't need to be a whole different story. It can tie into the first movie. And I can see how a lot of people will not like that. They want to see a new adventure for Joker. This is not the DC world that I think a lot of people are used to, or at least, Batman and all this. You're not going to see any of that. Okay. I'm just giving you the heads up. No spoilers. You're not going to see any of that. Expect a courtroom drama. You're going to get more expansive character development, which I also did appreciate because once again, like I said, I love the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. We get to dive deeper into his troubled past that makes you feel and realize how he is the way he is. I will just say that. And a lot of the close-in shots when they're talking about some of this, Joker lore on Joaquin Phoenix's face and so much emotion. Cinematography on this movie is beautiful. The musical numbers, like I'm saying, like the music in the film, not just the, Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix scores themselves, but the actual music selection that they chose for this time period, which I can only imagine is late 60s, early 70s at this point, because it makes it seem like he's been in there for years. He's awaiting trial. Was great. A great selection as well. I'm very conflicted. I don't want to make this too long, but I'm just letting all my thoughts pour out, guys. I feel like if they did pluck like 4 or 5 songs from this movie, I would love it a lot more than when I came out on the other side. So that being said, guys, I think I am going to give Joker 2 a solid 3 out of 5. You know what? It was above average. I really want to give it a 4. It's just that first movie to me is such a 5 out of 5. I didn't want to compare it, but I feel like I could have gotten more. Yes, we got a conclusion at the end of this Joker, which I think a lot of people are not going to like. I personally did like it, but it could have been so much better. I don't think at this point, now that I'm letting it mull over a little bit and marinate in my brain, I don't think all the musical number choices should have been in there, should have been left. They should have been left on the cutting room floor, or maybe an alternate version or something. Like I said, 3, 4 songs at the most. We got about 10 here. I understand there's an accompaniment soundtrack with this that Lady Gaga did. Fantastic. If you like Lady Gaga, go listen to it. It's great and stuff like that. She covers a lot of old school songs. And I will say this about the songs, though, the music choices that they did sing. They attributed to the plot. Like anytime they were talking about a certain situation, they broke out in the song, it had to do with the conversation that they were having. So that made sense. I like how they kind of shoehorn, and then it was just too much. It was just too much. So I think all that being said, guys, 3 out of 5, I think is a solid score. If I rewatch it, I might up it a little bit, 3.5, something like that. It's still a great quality movie. Good conclusion. That's all I'm going to say about it. You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys did appreciate mine, hit that big thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel today for more. All right, guys. Till next one, I'm gone. Peace.